Hello, back again, this time with a friend. Hey, buddy. And another friend. I should do like a little intro again. So, hi, this is, I guess, just a little vlog, chat, knit and chat, stitching, bitch, whatever, um, on the Acrylicana channel. I am an illustrator and designer, and I really love fiber art and crafts. I used to do a lot of work online, and I don't anymore, so I just thought I'd come back and say hi once a week, maybe, and just do a little chit chat on knitting and sharing and talking about projects and things. So last time I was working on punch needle, as you can see, and I like the result generally. I think this is weird. That came out weird. This is the back side is actually working on. There are gaps that I did not intend, and finishing was messy. It's messy, but I love the colors, and this was really fun and is good to learn. And this is also really just foldy, and I don't know what to do with it. So some thoughts I had were to mount it onto paper or foam and cut that out and then mount it up, or just put it in a little frame, or just use it as a coaster. Or make other little coasters like that, or nothing. Do nothing with it. That's fine too. I can always just pin it to a wall or to a little board or something. It's a learning piece. And I want to think more about how we finish the edges of something like an embroidery or punch needle or weaving, things where having a shape is really fun and not just having it be the edges of a loom or a frame or a hoop. I'm not entirely sure. One thing I was thinking about is that I really messed up where I should have had like 1.5 inches of space from the monk's cloth, and then I would cut darts, I don't know the right word for it, and then fold it over, glue it down, and leave maybe like 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch to do the whip stitch around or something like that. Could also use some sort of tape on the back, not sticky tape, but like rug tape, like a canvas tape, and sew that. And there's options. There's a lot of other options. Some of this I think will come up and work eventually, but other stuff it's just to figure out how to make these things, how to make little rugs, how to play with these materials that I've had sitting around for years, especially some of these colors. Like these 2 colors have been in my stash for like, when did I start knitting? 2015. So probably since then. These other ones have been in my stash for about a year. But figuring out what to do with these things be interesting. If you have some thoughts and ideas, I am happy to hear them. Always happy to hear them. Oh no, don't do stitches. So I also thought I'd bring out one of my knitting projects I'm working on. It is a cardigan for my daughter. Just trying to make sure that I don't drop stitches. I'm absolutely doing that. I have things to go on the ends of my needles so this situation doesn't happen, and I haven't used them in so long. Okay, so here, I'll just pull this out a little. Okay, this is the work in progress. It's a little tiny cardigan. I keep blocking my mouth, and I shouldn't do that. Little tiny cardigan. Did it again. I have stitch markers going down one side to indicate where the button is, and then there are buttonholes happening here. Half of this maybe I left these ends. I was like, I'll weave them later. And then other ones I'm doing weave in Steven method. So we'll see how that turns out. I haven't decided which one I like best. I really like this pattern. It's called Henny, and I'll have a link down below to it on Ravelry. It is not mine. I had the name earlier, and I've lost it from my brain, of the designer whose work I just started following and found. I tried filming this several times today, and all sorts of delightful things kept happening. You know, running around with my toddler, or like loud neighbors, or just being interrupted constantly. So I don't have that right now, but I will put a link down below or to the side or wherever that thing appears for that. Also, the yarn is Knit Picks Hawthorne. I'll happily link that. It is a kettle dyed yarn. I've used it before. I made a sweater for myself that actually had at least 2 of these colors, and then some other speckled ones in black, and maybe sometime I'll share it. But I have really loved some of their newer colors that they brought out, and for a while I just really wanted to make a cute rainbowy stripy sweater for my daughter and for me. But if I say it, I'm doing a project for her, it's a really nice excuse to buy yarn, which I have so much yarn right now that I'm not doing that as much. What other projects do I have going on? A pair of socks for my mommy for Mother's Day, and you're like, hey, it's July. Mother's Day in the US was in May. What's the deal? Well, I didn't see my mom on Mother's Day, but she came to visit like a few weeks after that, in June. Maybe it was a month later. Definitely would have been, because my daughter's birthday was Mother's Day this year. Anyway, and I had her go through my stash and pick out some yarn. And I was like, I'm making socks. And then we talked about different types of socks. She's like, whatever you want. And I said, cool. And I'm just making some super vanilla socks because I just want to do something simple. So I'm doing 2 at a time and working on the cuff of it now. They're toe-up socks. I'm just working on the cuff now. And it's just 1 by 1 rib. Really boring because I wanted to do like a tubular cast off and learn that. So she will have some cute, simple socks. And they're kind of, they're not really self-striping, but the way that the yarn is pooling from this particular yarn, they kind of are. And I think I either posted it on Instagram or just it showed up in a story, so it doesn't exist. I'll have to look. But what I should do is just grab all of my whips and like lay them out on my table here on my deck, and take a photo and post it or something. That would be great, I think, for me to see, because I like to see that type of stuff. And I should probably like run around through my projects and update Ravelry, or not. I don't really care. I don't really know what to do with that website. I find a lot of stuff on Etsy instead, and then I just like go back there to put things in libraries so I know where they are. I don't know. I know that they had a redesign a while back, and it just wasn't fully accessible, and that sucked to see. It also was like they didn't have a great response about the accessibility of their website at the time, and I don't know. It made me take all my patterns and turn them free because I didn't have another place to put them yet. I don't want to have them on Etsy because Etsy basically punishes you for not offering free shipping. My stuff wouldn't be shipped, but still, and they punish sellers for just not constantly engaging, just like any mildly social website does these days. I can't deal with it. I really feel for anyone who is using that as a shop front these days. It did not used to be like that. So I don't know. I'm often pretty trash, and then I will go back to services, and I'm like, oh, I know if I want to support them, but also like, well, they like Ravelry did update their website to be more accessible. I don't know if it's to the extent that people need or want. I don't have a lot of the same problems, although I am becoming a little photosensitive. Anyways, I don't know. It's hard when it's like this is the only source, really, to find a community, to find patterns, and to touch base with designers. And otherwise, you're running around on Instagram and hoping that you find people and dealing with that algorithm. And I don't know. When there is a different option, though, I do like to go for it. But not always. It doesn't always happen that way. I don't know. I buy too many damn patterns anyway. I recently just bought a lot of sock patterns. Summerly had a sale not that long ago. And then I also bought, I don't remember who the designer was, Woolen Pine, I think. I bought matching sweater patterns. They're sea glass patterns, so I can make sweaters for my daughter and I out of just my leftover yarn scrap stash. I have a lot of fingering weight yarn in a ton of colors. I have minis, I have all that, so I was gonna work on using that up with that. And then the same goes for a lot of the Summerly sock patterns. And I will link to everything that I'm talking about below or to the side or whatever. And if you're like, I'm not a knitter, you should still just go look at them because they're really pretty. I will probably just link to their Instagrams, seeing as I just talked about, well, I mean, they still have shop runs. You want to support small businesses? Oh, it's so hard. It's so dumb. I hate it. And I say this working like in corporate capitalist America for a for-profit company. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird to try to figure this stuff out while still trying to like keep a roof over your head and your daughter fed and your husband fed and your cats alive and fed. And ooh, you know what? We can feel better by making donations to abortion funds. So that's pretty good. I should do that. I was just paid. I paid my mortgage, so I should take some extra money. Not that there's any extra money ever because, you know, childcare. But I am a good budgeter and I can do that. So I'm going to do that. And I'm also going to link to that in my little description down below or to the side, because the fact of the matter is, we as a society are dealing with absolute trash and hell, and I just need people to have access to the health care that they need. No one should be forced to have children and parent unless it's something they really want to do. I love it, but I'm in such a different position. Mentally, physically, financially, such a different position. Also, honestly, if it's just not something you want to do, it's noticeable. It's noticeable that if you don't like your child, they know, their friends know. It's not a good quality of life. I don't know. Do you know? Oh, no one's happy. I don't know. I absolutely had friends who had parents like that. And it's like, why did you become a parent? Anyway, I meant to come here and talk about some knitting, but this is what happens every time I get needles in my hands. Who knew? It's actually what happens every time I breathe. I don't know. Every conversation becomes like this because that's life. Welcome to existence. So I'm outside. It's 1 billion degrees out because that's climate change. Something I think about with having a child, I don't even know if I said this last time, but I think about it a lot. It's like, why did I bring a human into this world that's on fire? And man, I don't expect her or her generation to solve things. I want my generation to solve it because I'm here now and capable, and it's really disturbing how little people in power seem to care. We talk a lot about sustainability at work now, and part of it is because companies see profitability in it, but also it's like when retailers, when people in positions of power, and a buyer for a retail store is in a position of power when it comes to manufacturing something. That was cool. If they say, this is what we want, this is what we are buying. Sorry, there's some sort of bird of prey circling around riding thermals, and it's really distracting, but like in a good way. Let's say a place like Walmart goes, hi, we want sustainable packaging in all of our toys or products, or we want the clothing that we're purchasing and putting on our racks to be sustainable. A manufacturer, a designer, has to do that in order to get placement. It's profitable then, but also that buyer, those companies, can use that power to be better. If they're like, hey, we only want you to use goods that are made in ethical ways, and they could do that. We're only buying that by that's where those bits of change can happen. And it is nice to have these talks now finally. It's nice to say, oh my goodness, yes, we can change these products maybe, or make these boxes smaller. Little things like that. Oh my goodness. Little things like making a box smaller. Using water-soluble inks in printing those boxes, whatever. Those are small changes for one designer to make, but when you work for a much larger company that is producing tens of thousands of products multiple times a year, that's a big difference. That's a huge difference. I'm excited to design to that. I have acrylic yarn, but I also have wool. And if I'm going to buy yarn, I try to buy wool. I don't think I was supposed to do, okay, yes I was, sorry. Whenever possible, and it's like a simple thing, but you know, the wool will break down over time. It's not adding microplastics. Imagine if designing a craft toy, if you were able to, and we're still far away from figuring this one out, but if you were able to, maybe this is the kit, okay? It's a punch needle kit. Imagine if all of this was ethically sourced wool. Or if you're vegan and you're like, no wool, please. It wasn't plastic based. It was still a plant-based material, and it wasn't cotton, so it has stretch. Just some sort of cellulose fiber. I mean, there's options out there. They're expensive. People don't want to pay that. They don't want to pay $50 for a kit like this, or $75 or something. But if more people do it, the numbers change the price. Also, if I could just get people to care more. I'm not great at this stuff, in that I'm not a no waste person. I'm not good at not utilizing single-use plastics. Like I'm working on it. But I also know that the biggest changes that are necessary are going to have to come from much larger entities than myself, the individual. My drop in the bucket is still a part of it. It still matters, I think. It's part of why, like, I don't eat meat. I'm not vegan. I'm not even vegetarian anymore. I'm pescatarian. But, like, these things matter. And even my tiny drop is still something. But larger companies have to take that over. I think about this stuff a lot now. Especially when I just want to produce, like, fun, happy, glittery things. I'm like, oh my god, glitter's bad. So I don't. I wish I could. There's a bunch of really fun materials out there and things like that. I mean, the name, Acrylicana. Acrylic is plastic. It had to do with acrylic paint, but also my love of, like, plastic. I love plastic. It's so neat and interesting, and that's like a jacked up thing to love. So I mostly just say it's paint, but really it had more to do with, like, 60s, 70s acrylic jewelry and Bakelite and just really neat. I mean, I used to do all that shrink plastic stuff. That a lot of that wound up in a landfill. Um, yeah, so some of why I don't do what I used to do is because it was very wasteful. And now I take on hobbies where I make gifts that can be long lasting gifts for friends and family and myself. Little gift to myself. Um, and pass down and around. Like, I mean, my daughter will wear this, and then after, I'm probably going to give it to my nephew. Like, he'll look really cool in it, you know. And I'll think about the buttons that I put on it, and when he's, a year old, a year and a half old, what would he want to wear? Hopefully, fun, colorful stuff. But I can understand if maybe he won't want Daisy. He's a year and a half old. He won't care. My daughter certainly doesn't care. Half the time I dress her in boy clothes, purposefully, because I just don't want her to have gender roles ingrained so early, although I do put her in dresses and I'm like, you're so cute. Ah. Ooh, weird thing. So she goes to daycare twice a week and they keep doing her hair. Maybe I talked about this last time, I don't remember. And sometimes it's really cute, but I use, little stretchy, no snag rubber band things, and I just it bothers me so much that they keep doing your hair. Like, what? Let her hair be free. I love it. I love it just being wavy and fun, and she's a redhead, so it's just wild and red, and they keep putting your hair in little pigtails, or doing little multiple rubber bands and little pigtaily things, and they're very cute, but she comes home and I gotta take those little things out, and her head is tired because they pulled tight, and really bothers me. It also bothers me because I will dress her in seemingly boy clothes and then come pick her up and she has girl hair going on, and it's just couldn't you have just left her? She's one. She didn't need that. Sometimes I will do her hair up because I think it's getting in her eyes, or because I just think it's fun. It's fun to do stuff with hair, especially when it's longer, but I don't know. Gender is hard. It's difficult. I think a lot about it's less strong green. It's just wild to me how it's pushed so much on teeny tiny baby children, and so my nephew is in utero right now, and I got tons of hand-me-downs from my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, and then I'm giving a lot of those hand-me-downs that my daughter's grown out of to my sister-in-law, and I was going through going what do you guys, because I just took all the hand-me-downs and just my child wore whatever, and my sister-in-law was I don't even care, the clothes are clothes. He'll wear whatever, he'll decide later, and it's true, he will. And some of it really is just making the decision on whether or not you want people to bother you that day or not. If you're oh no, if we're going to be going somewhere, it's if my son is in a little dress or something really girly, I mean, are people going to annoy me that day? Should I just put him in something less girly? I don't know. I don't have a son to think about that with. People are so much more accepting of someone perceived girl in a variety of clothing, although especially if you have a tiny redhead, they just want to do their hair and touch their hair, and I know that this is not something that a lot of white people or people with my hair texture deal with. It's just so obnoxious. I just want kids to own their bodies and be their own person and make their own decisions, and toddlers can't make a lot of decisions. You make decisions for them and let them choose as much as they can, while time allows, because you're we gotta go. My daughter doesn't mind it when I do her hair, but she also isn't that into it, so I don't do it a lot. She's not yeah, let's do it. Instead, she just runs around with brushes and does this next to her hair, and that's about it. If it looks like she's annoyed that her hair is in the way or it's warm out, maybe she can get a ponytail or her hair goes up. I don't know. sometimes defensively, I just put a teeny, like just one single little like boop kind of ponytail in her hair when she goes to daycare to leave her alone. I should probably say something, but I haven't decided how to phrase it yet. Like, am I just like, let her hair be? Or am I like, stop fucking touching my daughter? I don't know. I mean, you're taking care of her. It's so weird. I'm making it out to be too much, but you know, people like to control the bodies of other people, especially girl people. And I know it's even more so for non-white people. My daughter is white though, but she's a girl. I guess. I assume. She hasn't told me otherwise. We'll see. Maybe one day Nova will come along and be like, not a girl. And I'll be like, okay, what are you? Does it matter? No? Okay. High five. It'll be really nice when she's making her own clothing choices, and I just hope that she'll still let me knit for her. I would love for her to pick out patterns and yarns, and I can knit and sew, and it'll be nice. Be sad when she's like, no, never. Like, oh no, please always like me. Ah. Not there. Wow. Okay. So, this is the end of my green row. And I'm going to snip my yarn. I'm still going to do Even Stevens. Even Stevens. It's so hot out. I'm sweating so much. I finally managed to shower, and then I stupidly came out here and I built a red tufting frame. I bought it, but it came unassembled with no instructions and just a bunch of like screws and brackets, and I realized very quickly I absolutely had to use power tools, and I need to like re-drill all the holes and use my driver bits to actually drive the screws in there, which I've never done. I kept avoiding it. I love it. I love power tools. I think they're so fun. I wish that I had like a workbench space, or like maybe I should join a maker space when my kid's older. There's actually one, like our old office that I was supposed to be in, but the pandemic got me and made me work from home. There's a maker space like right there, right next to it, that I would have loved to join. And that'd be fun. I could still do that, by the way. I know where it is. It's not going anywhere. It's just I won't be there all the time working. I'll be working here at home. And occasionally part right across the state. Anyway, but man, power tools are fun. They're really fun. I'm really bad at like drilling straight and I'm terrible at things. I don't set myself up perfectly for it, and I just didn't have a workbench to work on, so I was just like on my deck trying not to make holes anywhere else, just carefully, and it worked out fine. I have my tufting frame. It has like tack board with little tack sticking out, so it's in my office closet now because I can't just have it. I didn't realize that was a part of it. I thought I was gonna like nail in to stretch my canvas for rug making, but no, it has tacks already ready to go, so I can stretch it right down there. But that means I have to put it well away so that my daughter doesn't come in contact with it, because it's dangerous as all hell for a 1-year-old, or really anyone. Even building the thing, I was like, geez, this is so in the way, and all these tacks here, but it worked out, and it's got like little loop things and spindles for your yarn to like loop up through, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. I did look at like a photo of it to get an idea of how the heck to put it together. I'm so tired of products. This happens all the time with either really bad instructions that I have to assemble, or no instructions, and I'm just like, okay, it's power tool time, and I'll figure this out as I go. But I've built enough stuff with cubbies and tables and chairs and all sort of things now that I'm like, I think I get it. I think I can figure these things out, and I think if I ever built another frame like this, or even like for weaving, I would just do it myself. I would gather my own materials and find a place that I could actually like saw stuff and cut stuff and figure it out and design it myself. I don't know. I think I can do it, and I like it. I like doing that stuff. It's very fun. I'm doing this a little too tight. This is bunching up, but you can see that I'm weaving in as I go. I'm just weaving a little too tight. All I'm doing is wrapping the yarn or catching it and catching it every time. It's the Stephen West method, Weave and Stephen. I think it's his. If it's not, it's just a bizarre coincidence, and he uses it, and his name is Stephen, and he's like really popular. So there's that. It's already a half an hour of chatting. Just doing a little chat. Just a little chitty chat. I'm glad that I deleted all the other ones that I tried to do. They were like so much more anxious. And just trying to like quickly like squeeze stuff in. This is more chill. Coco and I are having a chill time. Something I didn't talk about last time was that Colo nearly died in 2020. His kidneys started failing, and we didn't know why. We just happened because we were working from home in the pandemic. We were home all the time. We could see his behavior was different. He was lethargic, and it was weird. So we took him to the emergency vet in Ann Arbor, and they were like, his kidneys are failing. We don't really know or think he's going to get much better. We can put him down. And my husband was like, hell no. So we had him stay at the hospital for a few days, and they got fluids in him and then got him on antibiotics. And I mean, it was like he wasn't improving that much. He was slightly improving. We were like, okay, really just mourning the loss of him. And decided to bring him home and continue care at home. And I was like, I will give him medication. I will give him injections, thinking that it was just injections. It's not. It was subcutaneous fluids. But I was like, I'm signing up for everything. I want him home because he wasn't eating either, and he wasn't eating there. At least maybe he might eat at home, and we'll do at-home hospice care. And it was going to work well because both my husband and I were home, working from home. So we brought him home, and that same day we brought him home, I found that I was pregnant, and it was not something that could have been easily celebrated. And then my husband, because this is like his cat, this is his guy. When I met him, he had him already for a year, so we just kind of put it aside. It's like, okay, cool, I'm pregnant now, but also got to take care of Colo. And Ruthie was also there, and she's doing fine. And so we just went week by week, day by day. We went through a series of like rounds of antibiotics and subcutaneous fluids, and he went through all his antibiotics, and I think we did about 3 months of daily, and then every other day, and then every few days that he would allow us subcutaneous fluids, and that's like poking a sharp into his scruff of his neck and actually getting fluid underneath his skin. It was like a mixture of like water and maybe some electrolytes or something, potassium. I don't quite remember. It's been a while now. It's been nearly 2 years. Which is crazy. This was like the end of August 2020. And he just kind of kept going, and we would take him in and have like levels run every couple months or whatever. And then November 2020, the end of November, he just did not, like, he was all done with his antibiotics, well done by then, but he also just was like, I'm not taking fluids anymore. And we said, okay, we're just gonna, whatever we got more time with him, we're just gonna do whatever. And we're like, oh man, there's no way he's gonna move with us, because we moved like mid-January 2021. He moved with us. I'm like, okay, there's no way he's gonna meet this baby. He met the baby in May 2021. There's no way he's gonna make a year. He made a year. it's nearly, we'll hit the 2-year mark at the end of August, and he's doing fine. His levels are fine. I think he only has one working kidney, but his other one came back. And I guess, I don't know how long his non-working kidney has been not working, but his working kidney was doing great, and his levels were nearly normal the last time they were checked. It's crazy. I don't understand. He's just like a little miracle baby. It's really wild. I can't believe it. I can't believe that he's around while November's a toddler. Like, I really just thought he was gone. We absolutely mourned his loss. Not just like my cat is sick. It was like, no, he's gone. He's dead now. No, he's still here. He's fine. He's doing a little nap. A little sunshine nap. Hey, buddy. This is amazing. It's really good. Also, I learned how to give subcutaneous fluids, and I'm bad at it. I'm not. It was hard. But for sure, he allowed it when he was weaker, and as he got better, man, he resisted. I used to have to wear, like, weightlifting gloves in order to give him any meds and anything, because he's just, like, all claws and will destroy me. He was a really beefy little boy. Like, he's a small-ish cat, but he used to be like 13 pounds, and we'd take him to the bed and be like, oh, look at this weight, and then they'd touch him and look and be like, oh, he's like muscle. It's like, yeah, he's a little beefy boy. Little beefy boy. He lost a lot of weight, like he was weaker, but he does great. He's really playful and runs around the house, and he hangs out outside a bit, and I don't know how he got sick. I think maybe he ate something weird around the apartment, or maybe, I don't know. He has been his normal self pretty much since we moved. I mean, even before that. It's really wild. Cats, when their kidneys go, they go quick. They're pretty fragile. I guess we are too. There's more interventions for us. Or at least people are more willing to spend the money when it's a human, for obvious reasons, because we're human. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Each stripe row is 5 rows. Each stripe section is 5 rows. That's what I mean. So it's counting, as I must. Whew. There's so much more to do on this. You know, a teeny tiny clothings, you would think that it wouldn't be a lot, that it wouldn't take long, and I'm sure that's true for other people. It's super not true for me. It takes me a while to do these projects now. Just don't have a lot of time. I try to sneak it in, but my daughter notices when I'm not hanging out with her. You know, I can't just sit on the couch and have her play by herself like she does, and then she's like, hey! She'll just be like lying on the ground with like sucking her thumb or something, and it's like, it looks so sad. So I don't know. Anyway, I think that's about it. I should go, because I keep knitting. So we'll do this again sometime. Thanks for hanging. Bye.